بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Read the next hadith, inshallah. Bismillah, tafaddal. ألا تريحني من ذي الخلسة. اللهم ثبت قال فما وقعت من فرسي بعد انطلقت في 150 فرد من أحمس من أحمس من أحمس فحرقها بالنار. اوكي، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعن جرير بن عبد الله قال لي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ألا تريحني. أراح يريح. This is similar to when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would say to us, Bilal, when he went to read Salah, أرحنا يا بلال ألا تريحني من ذي الخلاصة. Will you not give us some comfort from this difficulty? Will you not give us some respite from the khalasa, right? Because this is inconveniencing us, it is harming us. فقلت بلى. I said, definitely يا رسول الله, anytime. ولكن لا أثبت على الخيل. I do not remain firm on the horse, on my conveyance. Otherwise, I'm gone old, I'm gone weak, maybe I can't, I lost my balance. Right? So, وكنت لا أثبت على الخيل. So I wouldn't remain firm, steady on the horse, right? فذكرت ذلك للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. So I mentioned to Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, I'm more than happy to execute your order. I'm more than happy to assist you with regards to this. But the problem is this here. I can't so remain firm on the horse, with age, whatever, right? Right? فضرب يده على صدري حتى رأيت أثر يده في صدري. The Nabi Sallallahu gave me a shot on my chest to such an extent I could see the effect of that shot. That is, maybe you something very hard like that, it leaves a mark, it leaves an imprint, right? فضرب يده على صدري. He whacked me, so to say, on my chest حتى رأيت, until I could see the effect of that, right? Check is the right page. So the wisdom struck me on my chest, right? And he said, Allahumma thabbithu waj'alhu ya mahdiya. Right? So he says, فَمَا وَقَعْتُ عَنْ فَرَسِي بَعْدُ. I did not fall off my horse or my conveyance after it ever again. Right? فَانْطَلَقَ. Then he left. فِي مِئَةِ وَخَمْسِينَ Faris, and he left with a group of 1,500 horsemen, right? Right? Faris, min Ahmas, from the tribe of Ahmas. فَحَرَّقَهَا بِالنَّارِ. Right? They burnt it with the fire. وَكَسَرَهَا. And they destroyed it. مُتَّفَقٌ عَلَيْهِ. This is a muttafaq alayhi riwayat. I told you the first one, ألا تريحني أراح يريح. Don't you give me some comfort, like relieve me of this difficulty. So this Dhul Khalasa was actually, it was like an idol that was worshipped in this particular place. So we learn from this here that the awliya of Allah Ta'ala, the friends of Allah Ta'ala, they are seriously inconvenienced when haram takes place. So look at the words what Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, that relieve me from this difficulty. Like, something is troubling you. Like how Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mentioned the same words. He said that when Salat time came in and he wasn't able to read namaz, he was uneasy, he was restless until he was read it, the Salah. Once he read the Salah, now he felt comfortable. Arihna ya Bilal, like give the azan, let us read it, let us perform our salah, so we will feel comfort and we will feel ease again. Because now we are restless, we want to worship Allah Ta'ala. So same thing, the same words here. They see that people are worshipping idols, people are doing wrong, right? So destroy this thing for us. Give us some relief from this. So from this you learn that the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those that are close to Allah ta'ala, when they see haram, and to a greater extent when they see shirk, etc., it troubles them that Allah Ta'ala, the creator of the worlds, and your people are worshipping besides Him, they are worshipping idols, they're doing haram. So when we see in our community, especially in our Muslim community, people are doing all funny things, they're doing stupid things, etc., then this is supposed to create something within us. It's supposed to create a dislike for it within us. Remember that famous story where Allah Ta'ala instructed the angels to destroy a certain community because they were involved in some type of haram, right? So then Nabi Sallallahu Allah Ta'ala sent the angels to destroy them. So the angel said, Ya Rasulullah, there is a certain pious person in this community. Will we destroy him as well? So Allah Ta'ala said, yes, definitely. Why? لأنه لم يتمعر وجهه. That this person here, when he saw those wrong things, he didn't even bat an eyelid. His face didn't even show some type of dislike for what is happening. So we as Muslims, we have to be cautious. We have to do whatever we can when the wrong is happening. When the wrong is happening, whatever is in our capacity, and in the current context, like you see what is happening to the Muslims in Gaza, they are being burnt alive, they are being vaporized, etc. Now, all of us, we can't, by right, we're all supposed to be making a beeline there, but obviously we can't go in for various reasons. They blockaded the borders, etc., etc. So we can't get in. But at least what we can do from our side, creating awareness, making dua, boycotting the products, lobbying, etc., etc. You see, when there is wrong, you as a believer, you have a duty to see what you can do to rectify the wrong, what you can do to remedy the wrong. That so these people were destroyed. Why? Because they said, "Me, ku anfusakum." That what the people doing, I don't worry. Me, I only worry about myself. I don't worry what is happening around me. So people of ulama, people of trust, people that are in positions of leadership, according to the capacity, they're supposed to address the social ills that is plaguing the society. So I was telling you here, so that we learn from that the pious people, they are inconvenienced by the wrong that happens around them, because obviously it brings darkness, it brings zulmat, etc. So this Dhul Khalasa was actually an idol in the tribe of Khas'am. You must have heard this name before. And it is known as Ka'batul Yamamata. Like how you had the Kaaba in Makkah, in Yamama. It's also a place in Yemen. There was like this famous, like you can say, shrine or idol. People would go there for pilgrimage, etc. So from talaqa, so this here, fan talaqa, this is the word of the Rawi, the person narrating the hadith, right? He said, fan talaqa. So then the Sahabi left with a group of 1,500 people. So the Rawi is telling now, one of the Rawis, remember the hadith here, follow this nicely. The hadith was from Jarir ibn Abdullah, right? Right? So there, so it's supposed to be in the first person. So he's supposed to say, fan talaqtu, isn't it? But so this shows you that this part here is not Hazrat Jarir ibn Abdullah. Somebody else afterwards is adding his portion in. You understood what I'm saying? Because if it was Hazrat Jarir saying, he would say, "Fan talaqtu," I went with 1,500 people. But it's in the third person. So one of the Ruwat, anyone that came after, they saying that subsequent to this incident, Hazrat Jarir went. You sure you got that there? Because it switches to the third person, right? Unless he's speaking in the third person. But in all likelihood, it seems like this is the kalam of the Rawi. That is why you need to understand which is like the masters of hadith. They will be able to tell you what is the words of the actual words of the Rawi, what is the words that somebody else put in as an explanation. It's called, what is it called in Usul Hadith? Mudraj, ne? There's Mudraj Kalam. So this word Ahmas, actually here, min Ahmas ay min Quraishin. Ahmas is from Humusun or Himasatun or Himasun, means brave people. And I told you that is why the Quraysh was called the Quraysh. Quraysh was a huge, powerful strong sea animal, like maybe a whale or killer whale or something. And because the Quraysh were such noble people, the tribe of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were brave people, they were honorable people, even though they didn't have Islam as yet, but they were, people that some certain people naturally, this families are righteous people. You can say that those people, they are honorable people. They don't do such stupid things. You can trust them. You can use them. You can trust them with your money. You can trust them with your wealth, etc. So even if before the advent of Islam, that was the sifat of the Quraysh, that they were honorable people. That's why, remember when Abraha came and he wanted to destroy the Kaaba, then we went to Abraha and said, you took my camels. So that Abraha said, you worry about your camels. I came to destroy the Kaaba. He said, look here, me, I'm the Lord of the camels. I'm the owner of the camels. I'm worried about that. But that Kaaba is got the Lord. Don't worry. The Lord will look after his Kaaba. And it happened as such. So the Quraysh were honorable people. That's why they were known as the Quraysh, noble people. And Allah Ta'ala used them for the deen. Allah Ta'ala used them for the Prophet, etc. So Ahmas means you're like brave people from the Quraysh. Although some ulama say this refer to the tribe of Hazrat Jarir. Okay, so the miracle here, remember we're doing the miracles, the mu'jizat of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The miracle that is being discussed here is that this person was unable to remain steady, firm on the horse, probably due to weakness or old age. But after Nabi Sallam struck him on the chest, he was able to remain firm and on his horse. Right, the next one. Right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وعن أنس right now Anas, and I said قال إن رجلا كان يكتب للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Once there was a person, he used to be a katib wahi. He used to actually record the wahi for Rasulullah. فارتد عن الإسلام, but he turned away from Islam. وَلَحِقَ بِالْمُشْرِكِينَ, and obviously he joined with the mushrikeen, because now he was, the hadith is مَنْ بَدَّلَ دِينَهُ فَاقْتُلُوهُ. That person who changes his deen, reneges from Islam, he should be killed. So he ran away, he fled because he feared. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الأرض لا تقبله. That this person, because of the respect he's shown to Allah and his Rasul, and he reneges from Islam, the earth will not accept him. فأخبرني أبو طلحة. So Abu Talha informs me أنه أتى الأرض التي مات فيها, that for some other reason or other he went to the land where this person passed away. فوجده منبوذا, he found him منبوذا, you can say cast out, embalmed. وقال ما شأن هذا, that what happened to this person, what's the story, he's not buried. فقالوا دفناه مرارا, like we buried him several times. فَلَمْ يَقْبَلُهُ الْأَرْضُ, but the earth did not accept him. متفق عليه, and this is a متفق عليه riwayat. So this is a clear, what you call it, the link of this hadith here is with the chapter is quite obvious, right? This Nabi Sallallahu accurately predicted that this person, because of his disrespect to Allah Ta'ala and his Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the earth will not accommodate him. He will be spewed out of the earth. So that's a miracle. Mentioned that this person was first a Christian, and then he became a mushrik, and then he went and resided with the mushrikeen. And when Nabi Sallallahu made this prediction, so the qabr would, so to say, spew him out every time after being buried several times. So this manbudhan is a ismul maf'ul, nabadha yanbudhu nabidhun nubidhu manbudhun. So manbudhan means thrown out, spewed out. Okay, read the next riwayat. Okay, let's look at the next. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وأن أبي أيوب غير منصرف أفعل كذا right. قال خرج النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وقد وجبت الشمس فسمع صوتا فقال يهود تعذب في قبورها متفق عليه. Nabi Marika of Rasulullah sallam, narrating the authority of Abi Ayyub, he said, once Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam had come out from his house, وَقَدْ وَجَبَتِ الشَّمْسُ, while the sun had already set, right? فَسَمِعَ صَوْتًا, and Nabi sallam heard a sound. Then he said, to right, this is Yahud, the Jews, to adhabu fi quburihim, they are being punished in their graves. Muttafaqun alayh. The muttafaq alayh riwayat, Allah Ta'ala protect us from adhab al-qabr. Remember the hadith we done in the beginning, that Nabi that Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala mentioned it after Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was informed about the adhab al-qabr. There was not one salah would pass except that he would seek protection in Allah Ta'ala from adhab al-qabr. So the miracle here is that Allah Ta'ala informed him about information from the unseen. Okay, read the next riwayat. قرب فلما كان قرب المدينة تدفن أدفن الراقبة بعثت هذا الريح. Okay, بعثت هذه الريح. Right. Okay, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعن جابر قال قدم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من سفر. Once Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم was returning from سفر. فلما كان قرب المدينة, when Nabi Sallam was close to Medina, هاجت ريح, then such a wind started blowing, تكاد أن تدفن الراقبة, such a heavy wind that it was close that it will تدفن. أدفن يدفن. That's why we say when we speak about burying somebody, you speak about kafan, dafan. So this was, so adfan if it means to bury somebody. So yeah, it doesn't literally mean bury, but means was such a strong wind and to the fina rakiba that were to take, it will like take the rider off his conveyance, blow him off his conveyance, right? فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بعثت هذه الريح, this wind has been said لموت منافقين, because of the death of a hypocrite, right? So before reaching Medina already, Nabi Sam predicted, فَقَدِمَ الْمَدِينَةَ, and then when we reach Medina, فَإِذَا عَظِيمٌ مِّنَ الْمُنَافِقِينَ قَدْ مَاتَ. When we came there, then we saw accurately as Nabi Sallallahu had predicted, a big one of the main, you can say maybe a leader, yeah, maybe not big, a leader from amongst the munafiqin, قَدْ مَاتَ, it passed away. Rawahu Muslimun, Imam Muslim narrate this particular riwayat. Okay, so the miracle there is quite obvious that Nabi Sallallahu, even before reaching Medina, he knew, he informed Sahaba Ikram, and obviously those days they weren't this type of communication that we have today, etc. But Allah Ta'ala informed him that a munafiq passed away, and so that is the miracle that Allah Ta'ala gave him. Ikhbarul ghaib, information from the unseen. So just a little bit tahqiq with regards to the words haja rihun, means haja from fa'ala scale. Hawaja became haja, and hajat, a very strong wind blew. What? Hajat, a very strong wind blew. And it was such a strong wind that it would actually remove a rider from his conveyance. So Allah Ta'ala sent the severe wind to inform about the death of a munafiq. And obviously the munafiq was what we say in Urdu, they say manhus, like a bad luck person. And here from some riwayat we learned this person's name was Rifa'at ibn Duraid. What was his name? Rifa'at Duraid. So like he says, like, how sometimes we have protests, people protest. In Urdu, in Arabic, it calls Mudahara, Dhahara, Yudahiru, Al-Mudaharatu. So even like the protest people do today for Gaza, everything, this is called Mudahara. What is it called? It is called Mudahara. So like how sometimes people protest, etc., etc. It's like that also the natural elements. They also have life. They also have a degree of shu'ur. So Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا يُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِهِ. There's nothing in this dunya except that also made the tasbih of Allah Ta'ala. So maybe they do not have complete intelligence and complete aql like insan, but they have a degree of aql as well. So they also were staging a protest, or, or maybe you can say maybe staging happiness at the death of this munafiq. So remember, Allah Ta'ala at times gives information of the unseen. And at many times, Allah Ta'ala gave here, the last few hadith we done, etc. Allah Ta'ala gave information to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam with regards to the unseen, right? So we should not confuse this and believe that Allah Ta'ala has absolute knowledge of the unseen. There are certain people, certain sects like the Barelwis you find in India, Pakistan, those people, they think they have that Allah Ta'ala has absolute knowledge of the unseen. This is incorrect. Only Allah Ta'ala, Kul inni la a'lamul ghaib. Allah Ta'ala clearly said, I do not have absolute knowledge of the unseen, right? But yes, sometimes Allah Ta'ala gives information to a Nabi of the unseen to prove he's not the ordinary person, to prove is a Nabi. So in technical terms, this is called ilm ghayb kulli and ilm ghayb juz'i. Ilm ghayb kulli means absolute knowledge of the unseen. And ilm ghayb juz'i, bits of information of the unseen. So our belief is only Allah Ta'ala has absolute knowledge of the unseen. Nobody besides Allah Ta'ala has absolute. Yes, Nabi Sallallahu to the greatest degree has got information of the unseen, and then the other prophets lesser and the awliya, etc. Right? So Nabi Sallallahu is the most knowledgeable person after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it is only Allah Ta'ala that has absolute knowledge of the unseen. Yes. So how do we answer these miracles? At times, Allah Ta'ala gave Nabi Sallallahu information of the unseen, right? So we should not misunderstand from these type of incidents, etc., etc., that Allah Ta'ala has absolute knowledge of the unseen. That is a divine quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to believe anybody else has the divine exclusive qualities of Allah Ta'ala is shirk. Like how you say Allah Ta'ala apportions. Allah Ta'ala decides who will get how much rizq. Now to believe some pious person or the Nabi of Allah Ta'ala is qasim or rizq. He's the one decides who must get rizq, etc. That is the exclusive quality of Allah Ta'ala. To believe anybody else has that is shirk. That is shirk fi sifat. The qualities which are exclusive of Allah Ta'ala, you are giving it, you are apportioning it to somebody besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So that is shirk fi sifat. So the reason why the author went a bit into like detail here is because there are certain people from the Indo-Pak continent, some of them even our country here, South Africa. I know the dynamics are very much similar, maybe in the UK as well. The Barelwi people, they also, we have this, then like in Urdu they say mushkil kusha, like you need to believe somebody can help you uh, from the unseen without assistance, like how people, the old people maybe sometimes when they have some difficulty, they say, Ya Ghaus, Ghaus al-A'zam, used to call out to Abdul Qadir Jailani. You ever heard that, Luqman? They call out to Abdul Qadir Jailani, although he was a pious person, and they believe he can help you from the unseen. So yes, we say only Allah Ta'ala can help you from the unseen. Right? If you believe that any pious person can help you, he can give you rizq, or any pious person can decide whether you must get a child, or you must decide how much rizq you must get, like how Allah Ta'ala decides, then that is shirk. Right? Can you read the next riwayat? خرجنا مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حتى قدمنا عثمان فأقام بها ليالي فقال الناس ما نحن هنا في شيء إيالنا. Okay, let me translate. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وعن أبي سعيد الخدري, narrating the authority of Abi Sa'id Khudri, قال خرجنا مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Once we went out with the Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم حتى قدمنا أسفانا, until we came to a place Usfan. So they probably went out in jihad, whatever. فأقام بها ليالي. He stayed, right? فأقام بها in it for a few nights. فقال الناس ما نحن هاهنا في شيء. So literal translation I'll give you and I'll tell you what it means. ما نحن, we are not here in anything. That's a literal word for word. In other words, there's nothing here for us. Why are we waiting here? Right? What's the point of being here? وَإِنَّ إِيَالَنَا لَخَلُوفٌ. And verily our family people in Medina, لَخَلُوفٌ, they are, you can say, exposed, right? ما نأمن عليهم. We do not feel safe with regards to them. Carry on. فبلغ ذلك فقال والذي نفسي بيده لا شيء ولا نقبل عليه ملكان يخرجانها حتى تقدموا إليها. Right. So then this information reached Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that these people are saying that we are here, there's nothing really happening here, and what's the point of us being here? Whilst our family is exposed there in Medina, we rather be there looking after them, etc. So this is the information that reached, right? So he said, فَبَلَغَ ذَلِكَ النَّبِيَّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. So Nabi said, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ. I take a qasam by the one who by soul in his hand. ما في المدينة شعب ولا نقب. There is not in Medina any valley or any ravine, right? إلا that to enter Medina إلا عليها ملكان, except that there is two angels there يحرسانه, that are protecting it حتى تقدموا عليها, until you come to there. In other words, you don't worry about your family in Medina, right? Allah Ta'ala has sent in your absence, in my absence, in our absence, Allah Ta'ala has sent angels to look after it. ثم قال, then whatever, when the Nabi made the decision, now we're going back, maybe the enemy never pitch up. ارتحلوا. He said, now okay, go back, we can go back, our work is done, carry on. والتي يحدث به ما وضعنا رحالنا حين دخلنا المدينة حتى أغار علينا بنو قد كان وما يحدثهم قبل ذلك شيء. Right. So he's saying, so Nabi says, irtahalu, now go back. فارتحلنا, we traveled now back to Medina. وأقبلنا إلى المدينة, and we faced Medina, we proceeded to Medina. فوالذي يحلف به. I take a qasam by the one, فوالذي, who qasam is taken by him. ما وضعنا رحالنا. We did not وضعنا رحالنا, like you can say, safely put away our, stow away our conveyances. When we حين دخل, and we entered حتى أغار على, until, like we just arrived and we like put our horses in stables, watered them, fed them. حتى أغار علينا Banu Abdullah ibn Ghatfana, until Banu Abdullah Ghatfan attacked us, right? وَمَا يُهَيِّجُهُمْ قَبْلَ ذَلِكَ شَيْءٍ. And nothing prompted them before that. Nothing prompted them before them. Right? Rawahu Muslimun. So you saw the miracle there. The miracle was this, that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, look here, in our absence, Medina is protected. Look at the words there. See there, what was it? Malakani yahrusani hatta taqdumu. That they, in our absence, these two angels protecting every entry point to Medina until taqdumu, until you will come back. So it means that whilst we are out of Medina, nobody will attack Medina. Medina will be divinely protected, right? And exactly when they came back and they reached Medina, there the enemy attacked. What does it show you? That Nabi Sallallahu statement of that, as long as we, me, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and you, my companions, we out of Medina, Medina will be protected, right? Khalufun come from, like in Urdu also say Khali. Just doing a bit tahqiq of the words there, see there? Yeah, where is it here from? وَإِنَّ إِيَالَنَا لَخَلُوفٌ. وَإِنَّ, so I was saying that our, so that our, to be empty, to be exposed, that we all the young, able, strong men, here we've come out of jihad, and our people are exposed. We rather be there protecting them, etc. Hayyaja yuhayyiju means to incite. Hayyaja yuhayyiju means to incite. So nothing incited them. Nothing incited them to go and attack Medina before. In other words, nothing prompted them to go there, right? So the miracle there is how Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam accurately predicted that don't worry, as long as we are out, Allah Ta'ala will protect us. And as we are there now, the responsibility will be upon us to physically protect it. And exactly as Nabi Sallallahu said, that is how the prediction of Nabi Sallallahu manifests itself. Right? Read next right? What you got on the scene there? Sanatun. Sanatun or Sinatun? Sanatun. Okay, right, carry on. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وعن أنس narrating authority of Anas رضي الله تعالى عنه, he said, أصابت الناس سنة, that drought afflicted the people in Medina على أهد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, in the time of Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم. Carry on. And right, فبين النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يخطب في يوم الجمعة, and whilst Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was addressing the people on the Jummah, right? Right. So it was drought, right? قام أعرابي, one Bedouin from a village said, فقال يا رسول الله هلك المال, the wealth has been destroyed. In other words, the livestock are dying because of thirst, hunger. وجاء الأيال, the families are hungry. فادعوا الله لنا, يا رسول الله, make dua for us. فرفع يديه, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam raised his hands. He raised his hands. ما is حاليا وما نرى في السماء قزعة. Nabi Sallam raised his hands and he made dua in this condition that we did not even see in the sky even a piece of cloud, like a speck of cloud, right? Carry on. Okay. فوالذي نفسي بيده, and I take a qasam by the one who my soul is in his hands. ما وضعها. Nabi Sallam hardly, you can say, yeah, he did not place his hands down, but you can say he hardly placed his hands down. حتى ثار السحاب, until we saw, right, أمثال الجبال or أمثال الجبال, أمثال, that we saw clouds start moving in the sky. أمثال الجبال, like the likeness of mountains. So at one moment there was not even a speck of sky, of cloud in the sky, and the Nabi just made dua, and immediately after his dua we saw the clouds moving there, right? So فلم ينزل عن منبره حتى رأيت المطر يتحادر على لحيتي. So 1 minute there was no, forget about rain, it was not even overcast. It was not even overcast. And Nabi Sallallahu made dua. And by the time he got off from the mimbar, his beard was already dripping with water. Right? So falam yanzil an mimbarihi. And so he did not even dismount from his mimbar, right? Hatta ra'aytul matar, until I saw the rain. Yatahadaru an lihyatihi, dropping from his beard. Carry on. Mutirna. So matara means for rain to come down, right? Mutirna means we were rained. Let's read what means mutira. So that is rain was sent upon us, right? Mutirna. That's why even there's a hadith where Nabi said, don't say mutirna binawi kada wa nawi kada. Don't say that the rain came because of this star and that star. Like how you get this horoscope, ne? I say horoscope, that you say I'm a Sagittarius and I'm a Aquarius, so that you say, so what is the problem with that? You believe that the stars and the orbits, they decide your destiny, they use decide your fate. What do we believe? What is our belief? That Allah Ta'ala decides your destiny, Allah Ta'ala decides your fate, Allah Ta'ala decides whether you will live, Allah Ta'ala decides whether you will die, Allah Ta'ala decides how much risk you will get. So this hadith, mutirna binawi kadha wa nawi kadha. So this even existed in time of Rasulullah. You don't say that we got rain because of this star and because this star or this planet touched this orbit, etc. No, no, no. You get rain because Allah Ta'ala sent the rain. You get sustenance. Inna Allah huwa razzaqu. He is the one who decides who will get sustenance, right? So for mutirna yawmana dhalika. So we were given rain. Yawmana dhalika, on that day of ours. Wa min al-ghadi, the next day, right? Wa min al-ghadi, and the next day, hatta al-jum'atil ukhra, until the next Jum'ah. Right? So we're given everything until the next Jum'ah. وقام ذلك الأعرابي. So the next Jummah. So from the time Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam dismounted from the mimbar, the rain was coming one way until the next Jummah. So normally, uh, like especially in a Muslim country, you don't have a lot of Jummahs, right? You have one Jummah, big one. That's why you speak about the Jami Masjid, the big Masjid, the main Masjid. So that's the ideal. The whole idea is that the whole community must gather in one big Masjid on the day of Jummah. So people will come up from the countryside, from the nearby villages, etc. They would come to Rasul for Jummah. So the next Jummah, what happened? The same وقام ذلك الأعرابي, that Bedouin, he stood up. أو غيره, I'm not sure. The Anas was saying was him or it was another person. He stood up. فقال يا رسول الله. He said, carry on. Right. تهدم البناء. The buildings are being destroyed. Now remember, in the desert, you don't get so much rain, right? So you're not accustomed to rain. That's why even till today, when you have heavy rains like in Saudi and Dubai, all the places, you see the roads are flooded. Why? Because they're not accustomed to heavy rains. So they don't have the appropriate drainage in it. So, and obviously the houses, they were of mud. There was no like solid houses. Right? So تهدم البناء, that the buildings were destroyed. وغرق المال, and the wealth, literally the wealth is drowning. Obviously, what wealth means here means the livestock, etc. Because obviously those years that was your sign of wealth, right? فَادْعُوا اللَّهَ لَنَا, make dua to Allah Ta'ala for us, right? Carry on. Right. So this is also the dua you make today. Also, you make dua. Allahumma hawalayna. Oh Allah Ta'ala, send the rain around us. Wala alayna, not on us. Right. You get what you call the catchment area. What's the catchment area? The catchment area is those areas where the dams are. So normally what they do, the engineers do, they like in they see like where there's high rainfall and where it's easy to build a dam. So that is where the dams are built, right? Like here where we are in P, if you go towards Cape Town and Kipatensi side, where all the main dams are there, isn't it? So you make dua Zaldal, instead of sending the rain on top of us, was going to make our roofs leak, going to destroy our buildings, etc. Rather send the rain to the catchment area. Hawalayna, around us, la alayna, not upon us, right? فما يشير إلى ناحية من السحاب إلا انفجرت. So he did not indicate to any corner of a cloud إلا انفجرت, except that it opened up. In other words, the Nabi would indicate to the cloud, and that normally you say, when there's a lot of clouds in the sky, what you say, the sky is covered, is closed with clouds. As the clear say, the skies are open. I can see clearly now the skies are open. So the Nabi would point, and that would open up, the clouds would disappear. That's what it means, right? Um, إلى ناحية سابي إلا انفجرت, right? Right. So وصارت مثل الجبل. So what he's saying is that see here, imagine if this is Medina, right? And then all around Medina, there's clouds. So just above Medina itself, and obviously those days Medina was very small. Uh, mm, they say that the historians, the ulama say, if you went to Masjid al-Nabawi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right, you'll see today, if you look at Masjid al-Nabawi, the masjid itself and the surrounds, in the time of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that was the entire Medina. In the time of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that was the entire Medina. What was beyond it was called Hawali Medina. It's called Hawali Medina. So you had, what he's saying there is, you had like basically that all the area around Medina was covered in clouds, and just above Medina, there was like a clear skies. So you had like you can say like a circle, or what do you call it, a halo of clear skies, right? Yeah, so yeah, like a hole or a gap, or you say a halo, right? So just imagine that whole area is covered in clouds, but just above Medina, there's a circle of clear blue skies, right? Right. Wasal al Wadi, Qanatan, Shahran, and as a result of that, right, the rivers flowed, right? Just 1 second. Right. So this is was Wasal al Wadi, you got a Qanatun or Qanatan? Qanatan. So Qanatan is actually the name of a particular valley there. Qanatu. Yeah, I think that makes what is it, Qanatun or Qanatu? Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Wasal al Wadi Qanatu. So this valley of Qanat, right? It's flowed for one whole month as a result of the rains, which was a result of the dua of Rasul, right? من ناحية إلا حدث بالزود وفي رواية قال اللهم حوالينا ولا علينا اللهم علينا. Right. So nobody came from the outskirts of Medina. ولم يجي أحد من ناحية from the outskirts, the corners إلا حدث بالجود. Except they say, yo, like how we say, yo, heavy rains, ne? Heavy rains. They were speaking about the heavy rains, which was all as a result of the dua of Rasulullah, right? Carry on. So Nabi Sallallahu said, Allahumma. So for fi riwayatin, in another riwayat, he said, right, oh Allah Ta'ala, send the rain. And this is also the masnoon du'as. Normally, if you look in the kitab, hawalayna, Allah Ta'ala, send the rain upon us, right? Right, hawalayna, around us, not upon us. Allahumma al akami, akam, Allah Ta'ala, send the rain upon. Akam is jama of um, akmatun, right? So, like, normally I told you, like, even here, this is so easy in PE to understand this here. I told you, if you go to our catchment areas, you go here, Henki, Patensi, right? So the dams are so, this is so applicable to us. The dams are, the easiest way to build a dam is you've got two mountains, right? Then you build a wall was there, right? So that traps the water from flowing. It's the least amount of work. So our kami is, Allah Ta'ala send the rain to the mountain tops, right? What you said? Mounds, like the top area. Okay, that was fine. Mound also, like you say, a mound of sand, etc. Right? Right? Also like hillocks, mountain tops, right? Right? Wabuturin audiyati, to the stomach of the valleys, because that is where the what you call it, I told you the easiest way of building a dam is to trap the water between two mountains, and you got a natural, right? Wamanabiti shaj. This is nabata, means to grow, and mambat means place of growing, right? And mafail, the places of growing of trees, right? So send it to the places where it's needed, not here on the out. It will destroy the houses, to the farmlands, etc., etc., right? Right. So, yeah. So Malshadi qala faqla'at. This also word comes in the Quran. فقلعي وغيض الماء. وقضي الأمر واستوت على الجودي وقيل بعدا للقوم الظالمين فاقلعي, right? So it stopped, right? فقلعت, right? So فقلعي, stop, desist, right? وخرجنا, and we came out, نمشي في الشمس, while we are walking in the sun. So, okay, this hadith here, it's quite obvious that 1 minute it was dry, it was hot. The next minute, the rain came continuously as a result of the dua of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the next minute, what happened? After Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made dua, what happened? There was like a halo, like a hole protect, or not like a, yeah, like a hole through the clouds protecting Medina. So it's quite obvious that was the miracle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, we'll stop there, inshallah. Just make a note. So we're going to start with this on the 22nd of July, inshallah. Allah Ta'ala accept from us. Allah Ta'ala make it the means of our forgiveness. Allah Ta'ala convey the rewards to our marhumeen. Allah Ta'ala let them see the fruit of our broken efforts. Allah Ta'ala make them forgiveness. Okay, so we just got a small portion of the Kathir to finish that verse. وَإِذْ أَخَذَ رَبُّكَ مِنْ بَنِي آدَمَ. We will finish that, inshallah. Then stop there, inshallah.